Shalom.
Shalom. So we're on to the next chapter. We're on to Shemot chapter 7. All right. So we have gone through 6, and just to have a quick recap of what chapter 6 was about. Well, we saw the promises that the Creator made to Moshe, and we saw the objections that were made, and now we're about to look at how did it pan out. The Creator said, "Now you will see what I will do to Pharaoh," and he said 7 promises of deliverance. So we're going to watch those words step into history as Moshe and Aharon stand before Pharaoh. The staff becomes a serpent, and the first plague, it's Egypt's most trusted god, the Nile. So we will look at the first few verses and see this is where the Creator says, "Let the plagues begin." He made Moshe like an elohim to Pharaoh. So we're going to read verse 1 and verse 2.
I'm here. Good night to everyone.
Yes, shalom, my brother. We're just about to start. Very good timing. Want us to start with the first 2 verses for us.
Of chapter 7.
Yes.
Okay. Genesis chapter 7, reading verse 1 and 2. And the Lord said unto Moses, See, I have made thee a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron thy brother shall be thy prophet. Thou shalt speak all that I command thee, and Aaron thy brother shall speak unto Pharaoh, that he send the children of Israel out of his land.
Thank you very much.
And
so there we're seeing it. It seems as if Moshe has gotten a promotion because he is now made, in my version it says, I've made you an elohim. So I've made you like a god, right? Not in the divine sense of as higher than any man, but in a prophet position, right? So he can actually talk with a stronger power now, because basically he is in a higher position to Pharaoh. Because remember, first of all, he didn't actually see Pharaoh as somebody who he could actually face, right? So he's like a judge or a master now, and if Pharaoh has any objections, he can actually inflict pain on him and suffering on him and chastise him with plagues, because he has the tools, right? So it's not just Moshe though, but also Aharon is like a prophet. So one is like a god, and one is like a prophet. What's the difference between? Well, we know the prophet is one who proclaims and announces words of reproof to the people, right? So he is a representative of the Creator, right? So that is some big promotion, and the instruction is clear: you must speak all that I command you, right? No turning to the left nor to the right. Not what the congregations do today by adding to Torah, adding something that sounds more palatable to what person's lifestyle is, exactly as what was said.
Which means Moses, with his position that he has held prior to, that is in itself is telling Moses now that you are not subordinate to Pharaoh anymore.
Yes.
You understand? You are on par.
Right. So it's basically, it's like me and you are talking now. Me talking a patois, and you talk it in English. So basically, two of us work together, right? And so sometimes when you get upset and you're trying to express yourself to somebody, it's only patois can really do it, right? You can't really nice up that. Well,
and then the next person fine-tune it.
Right. So Moses could have really taught the part one and give the context and the tone of the conversation, sound how the creator wanted the sound, but to smooth it off and to bring it to Pharaoh in his language now, then you don't want Aaron to really do that part of it. So teamwork makes the dream work, right? So that is show that Aaron was more articulate than Moses and can bring the information to Moses' ears kind of clearer.
Much clearer.
Right. So, and one thing though, I like when the message is given and there's no edit. You know, you don't have to soften down the tone. You don't have to nice it up. Talk it exactly, and that's what I like. How Moshe could actually do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
All right, we can read for us verses 3 to 7 as well.
Okay. Genesis, Exodus 7, reading from 3 to 7.
Yes.
And I will harden Pharaoh's heart and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you, that I may lay my hand upon Egypt and bring forth mine armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by a great judgment. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I stretch forth mine hand upon Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. And Moses and Aaron did as the Lord commanded them, so did they. Verse 7. And Moses was fourscore years old, and Aaron 83 years old, when they spake unto Pharaoh.
Okay.
And that's 7.
That's good. Thanks. So we're seeing tension.
Yeah. Asa.
Right. Okay. I was on mute while you were reading, so as to make it more clear. But,
okay.
Thanks for that. Right. So what we're seeing that there's some tension there. The creator hardened Pharaoh's heart, or it is either Pharaoh hardened his own heart, being strengthened in his stubbornness. Well, that's not a statement. That's a question. Was it the creator that hardened Pharaoh's heart, or was it Pharaoh who hardened his own heart through his own stubbornness?
Well, it's a twofold in my opinion. Well, if I would have understood it. It's a twofold because your desire, the Most High will allow your desire, whether it is good for you or bad for you, right? But it's your desire.
Yeah.
So that is how I would view it.
Okay, it's twofold.
Because in the narrative, that's his free will. Pharaoh's free will.
Yeah.
To be hard in the whole event of such. So that's how I would answer it. Okay,
well, I agree with you that it's actually both, but I want to feel like among the first set of plagues, although it's kind of too early to say that, I believe that it was a lot with his own stubbornness too. Right. He was stubborn, right? Yeah.
And remember now that the position that Pharaoh held is one of such that he is the power, the earthly power, let me say, right?
Yeah.
Then, so he would have been seeing Moses below him, because despite what the Most High did to Moses for him to be somewhat equal or be not subordinate to Pharaoh, that is unknown to him.
Yeah.
So he would still be seeing Moses as subordinate to him.
Yeah. So basically, he still looked down on Pharaoh, so he had to have some stubbornness. So there was some arrogance, I think, on his side, And that natural arrogance, we actually see how, based on how we communicate later, we'll see how that works. But then later we saw where the creator actually firmly strengthened that kind of arrogance so that in the full set of judgments can actually be seen.
Yeah.
There's another verse that mentions that it says, Aaron was 3 years older than Moshe.
Yeah.
So that was actually to help us with chronology, for those persons who are doing their mathsing. It will help us in terms of, adding up to find out any messages about age. Right. Verses 6 to 7, it underline obedience and timing. Both of them did as were commanded. If you notice in verse 6, they did as was commanded. Right. So that is very that is something that we must at least can copy that. And the purpose of all this.
Question. What would have been the Most High's army? Because it says in 4, I may lay hand upon Egypt and bring forth an armies. Yeah. So, what would have been the armies of the Most High?
Well, basically, is his hand, right? So seem like a human being can have hand and foot and so on. The writer here mentions that it is the hand of. It says that the Mizraimites will know that I am the creator when I stretch out my hand upon Mizraim. Right? The punishments on the nations will also deepen the fear and reverence of Israel. So they will know that the creator by what he does to their oppressors. So basically, what he's doing is he's doing it by himself. That's why it describes him as his own hand. But really and truly, we know that his power is not limited to a bodily description.
Yeah, but you still not explain the term armies,
Army.
Yes. I understand what you're saying, but I would want for you to give an explanation what is meant when it says his armies.
What verse is it mentioned in again? Help me, please.
4.
Oh, yeah, it says, and bring my divisions and my people, the children of Israel. Okay, so basically it's actually his people is his army. God, it said, my divisions, my people, the children of Israel. So it's actually explained, that, he is using Israel as his army. He's using his people as his army. He uses his children as his army out of their land. So basically, he's bringing his army. So it doesn't say that the army is going to be fighting. He's actually bringing his army out of the land of Israel. Yes, sister.
Back in chapter 6, remember he had called for the heads of the fathers of the houses. So these were the ones that were set above in ranks above the people. So I'm thinking that these are the ones that he's speaking about, not the females, the women and children, but certain men were selected. So these are the armies. They are the ones that are set above people in ranks to deliver Israel.
Yeah.
And so that is what it's referring to. Also, where you mention about Pharaoh hardening his heart, we know that it's the Most High alone hardened Pharaoh's heart. But think about it. Pharaoh had people, remember there were people in Egypt that were not just Israelites, they have the Egyptians and those who had sold their lands to Pharaoh too. So you have a lot of nations in Egypt, and they were also watching to see what would happen to the showdown between Moses and Pharaoh. So Pharaoh can behave puny, and back down and bow to because he would seem like a weak leader. He has to stand up.
Yeah. Well,
I think some of the resistance is also pride.
I was just about to say that word, pride. Pride is what captivates his mind.
Yeah, pride and arrogance. But I'm actually glad he hardened his heart now, because you see, we would hear about this story. The story wouldn't make history if Pharaoh just rolled over and just accepted whatever. So basically, it had to be announced to all the nations what really happened to Mizraim because of one that hardened his heart. And if we're frank, Pharaoh was actually deserving of a punishment. Same time, it was overdue. He was doing bad. It was going on bad, right? So
yeah, but remember the ruling power then, so who never punish him? Him had the ruling power then, you know.
Yeah.
So there was no one there to punish him but the creator.
That's right.
Yes, Pharaoh was the life for America is based in today. Because when you think of it, why do you think they're building cities? Remember, the Israelites are built, these bricks, they're getting to, they are being forced to build cities for Pharaoh, you know.
Yes.
Who do you think are going to impact cities? And today we see them doing the same thing, smart cities and all of that. They're coming in to have the people locked in a certain way, to have control over them, putting them into slavery and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and even our time now, you see what they plan to do with us with this fusion of man and machine.
I tell
But
you.
don't think it's anything good. I think they had something back then, you know, because we're looking at Egypt as a primitive place when history tells us that they were never primitive. These people were very, if they could do the same thing like cast down rods, even though we don't get there yet, but they could cast down the rods and it becomes snake too. These people are not just some walkover or some liquor people that you think. Pharaoh was mighty.
Yeah.
And that's why the Most High said he had to make Moses be a God to him. And Aaron is prophet. These people are not just some simple people.
So he can actually look up to him, and humble himself too. Right. What have we thought about the issue of free will? Is there any free will in hardening someone's heart so that he can punish them?
No, but remember, you know, okay, there are things. Let me say, there are things that not good for us in a sense, but we still ask the Creator for it, ask the Most High for it, and we have gotten it, even though we know it's not, even though it's not good for us, just for us to learn some lessons from it in respect to, you know, you ask for this, you know, it's not good for you, and this is going to be your end result.
Yes.
All right. Well, okay, when I say that, let me get, I'm going to use as first example. All right. Just like with Abraham and Sarah, when the king did take with Sarah and Moses prevent him from doing anything to her, right? With David and Bathsheba, the Moses could have stopped David, you know. Because here it is, they said David is a man of God's own heart. But he allowed David's free will. And yesterday the punishment for David, him house marked up. The sword never left him out.
Yeah. Right. So there are consequences, ripple effects as a result.
Right. So in terms of the free will, it's your free will.
Okay. Right. Well, I won't even mix the punishment with the free will because, as I said before, Pharaoh deserved overdue punishment long time. So what he's getting is it's not a must that is for what he's doing, but what he had done wrong before, you know, and he's actually making it worse by being stubborn, prideful, and arrogant about it. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go from verses 8 through to 13.
13?
Yes, 8 to 13 for us, please.
Exodus 7, verse 8 to 13. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and it shall become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as the Lord had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers, no, the magician of Egypt. They also did in like manner with their enchantments. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods. And he hardened Pharaoh's heart, that he hearkened not unto them, as the Lord had said. End of 13.
Oh, thank you. So, whenever I'm doing business, some persons like for me to give them a business card to show with them which company I represent, right? When I see this situation now, I'm actually seeing Moshe have to actually show us, look, man, I represent the creator right here, and actually I'm going to lay down some things right here so you can realize, chastisement if you don't really work with the program, because I have tools right now, that you're going to have that should be more than enough and more than convincing for you to actually recognize that, I am indeed representing creator. So when Pharaoh spoke to him saying, show us a miracle. So Pharaoh says, see that you guys have talked. Show me something. Prove to me that you're legitimate and you're credible and you're representing a more mightier elohim than what I represent. So that was the time. Yeah, so they get people want signs and wonders. And it just reminds me of people today, in church. If you are a preacher just reading the word and expounding on it, sharing it to persons, they're not impressed by that. They want to shout and they want signs and they want miracles and they want tongues, right? That in itself is good enough. It gives them a good feeling that they are actually in the right space and listen to the right messenger, right? So we see when Aaron asked for one, that take your staff and throw it down and it will become a serpent. So basically told him what to do. And this is like a divine proof that there'll be real power, right? So Moshe and Aharon went and they did so, and they threw it down and it became a serpent. So it actually proven right there. So, and then Pharaoh's wise men now, showing that they actually have power too. They drop their thing and do the same thing, do their secret arts, and it became a serpent. But to me, what makes it not necromancy and what makes it a righteous thing to do? Go ahead, brother.
I noticed one observation here in terms of the whole situation that transpired just now. Of course, the Most High had given instructions, but I noticed that Aharon is the one who actively carried out that action.
Yes. Oh, you noticed that. Good.
Yeah.
Well, they're working together, and I didn't see they come to an agreement where everything would be ironed out. Well, know that one going to talk it rough and one going to talk it smooth. But in terms of who's okay.
Torah belongs to Moses. Remember, Moses was the one who who actually did that stunt, that act before. Remember at the burning bush and stuff and all of that, man.
Yeah, I remember.
So I say that to say the right belongs to Moses.
That is
but here it is so. Now is Aharon carrying out that function, because Aharon who put down the rod in front of Pharaoh, it became the serpent. Pharaoh, Obeah and them come and all of them and then put on for their mouth and all of that. But the point that I'm trying to point out is that it's Aharon who actively did that, and I would want.
Yeah.
Why would that be?
The only thing I'd say basically is the bigger brother, but there may be another reason. Same as
All right, let me say this again. Let me add to it.
It is said in verse 1, the Most High said unto Moses, see, I have made thee a God to Pharaoh, and Aharon thy brother shall be thy prophet.
So is the prophet work that?
Aharon is acting on behalf of Moses, who is the God to Pharaoh, even though Moses is there. When the Most High sent out his prophets, we don't see the Most High doing the work himself. He does it through the prophets.
Yeah.
So that's what Aharon is to Moses.
Right.
And the rod belongs to the Most High, not Moses.
So, right.
It's an instrument from the Most High that he should use, but he already told him that he cannot do certain things and speak. So that's why Aaron is being his representative. So if someone is representing you, they're going to be showing the acts while you stand aside and watch them do it.
Right. And the staff, remember what a staff is? A staff is something that shows, it's a symbol of power and authority. Right. So it is actually delegated to him, to do that part as in a prophet role. Right. And there's no doubt who is actually the one that Pharaoh is to look up to. Right. So it's clear. So
okay, so Pharaoh is also a god to the people. Sorry, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see Pharaoh casting down the rod. It's magicians are the ones doing it.
Right. So while you're at it, what do we have to say about necromancy? I just shown where Leviticus 19 verse 31 says, "Do not turn to mediums and do not seek after spirits to be defiled by them. I am the creator, your Elohim." Right. So that is one reference. It's also in chapter 20, verse 6. It tells us that, and the being who turns to mediums and to spirits to go warring after them, I shall set my face. I shall set my face against that being and cut him off from the midst of his people. So it's serious thing, Oberman kind of thing. What I am saying is, what is it that suggests that what Moshe and Aharon doing is not Oberman thing? Are we going to be biased and say what is on this side is good, but what is on that side is bad? How do we explain that? What makes Ober?
Verse 8 says, and the Creator spake unto Moses and said, and unto Aaron, saying, when Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, shew a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, take your rod and cast it before Pharaoh. So maybe the Most High allows this to happen for to show forth his power and to show that all of the powers are no power at all but his.
Okay.
Yeah, what I get what Asa say. Both are similar, irrespective from where they are coming from, but they result in the same thing, becoming serpents and whatever, right? But they are coming from two separate entities. So what Asa is saying, how do we qualify powers?
That is giving them this power. That's what you're saying, without saying it. There's another entity that is giving them this power.
Much greater than theirs.
Well, I would
expect, you see, reading the text, I would expect after Aaron's serpent swallowed up Pharaoh's, all of them, and it's not one serpent, several. Okay, I would have expected a statement from Pharaoh, seeing that one serpent demand them have, devour all of them on them. I would have expected a statement, but I don't see any statement come after that.
No, we don't see a statement, but other things will happen.
I know, man, but I am saying if me have my defense, then, so to speak, and you, which is more than yours, because in terms of numbers, we have more numbers than you. Okay, and if you defeat me, I would have to say something.
Yes. There should be some consult.
But just be dry there, so nothing. The one of the grave gone.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess I said them right it anyway. But the one of the grave gone. I would have said something.
Yes, it should have. But let's see on. There's one more I want to share to detract from the study. Is it actually Deuteronomy 18 verses 10 to 12? It says, "Let no one," I'm going to read it, and you're going to tell me who comes to mind. "Let no one be found among you who makes his son or his daughter pass through the fire, or one who practices divination, or a user of magic, or one who interprets omens, or a sorcerer, or one who conjures spells, or a medium, or a spiritist, or one who calls up the dead. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Creator. And because of these abominations, the Creator, your Elohim, drives them out from before you." We are aware of religions that actually the father sacrifices his son, right? We are aware of religions that, person call up the dead, right? We are aware of religions that, people do magic, right? And I'm saying these are things that are prevalent today around us, right? And we put turn a blind eye like to it and say, this is heavenly, and this is actually being done by the right person, right? But these are things that we need to be conscious of, right, rather than to turn a blind eye on it. And there's something else we need to know back on the text.
But what can we do? What can we do? Let me ask that question. What can we do?
Well, first of all, when persons bring up these conversations, I usually don't continue it, right? Because sometimes it's just, based on person's background, they believe in it so strongly, right? And because I know my faith is in a more powerful being, then I feel like it's a waste of conversation to actually go into that. But if it's in the Torah here, we cannot ignore it. People do magic, and people always do them black magic and them things, right? So we have to know that, if we see anybody, if you see anybody who's call up the dead, and you don't find that person, if somebody said that the rays are dead, that is not enough reason for you to believe in the person, because we are warned about this from a long time, from back in the day. All right, and need I say nothing more on that. One more question though: why was a serpent used and not something else?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I would suppose from beginning, from creation in the garden, this is just my view still. You understand me? They identify a serpent in the framework as to say that's how they were created.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
Yeah. Right.
That's how they were created.
Exactly. That's it's a wise. It appears to be among the wisest animal. Right.
They are the wisest. I would say they are the wisest. There was no, because if there was no comparison.
Yeah. Right. So
there were no comparison.
That's it for the serpent.
The right things of the scriptures. No comparison. There was nothing to compare to a serpent.
That is true. That is true. And do you realize that the rod actually, the rod swallowed up the rod of Aaron swallowed up their rods?
That's what I was saying.
Right.
And that's why I was saying that Pharaoh should have made a statement as it relates to the man, them one snake. Sorry, let me say serpent, because serpent is scripture thing. Right? May have several snakes to your one serpent, and your one serpent power swallow up mine.
Yeah.
You need to make a statement.
Well, so it shows that one had more power than another. One had more power than the other, because one swallowed the other one.
Exactly. So I would be asking questions, because me are the superior power there on the ground, and here it is now you come flap my show. Me have to ask something, me have to say something.
Mm-hmm.
But that is just my view still.
Right. Thank you for sharing, man. And another thing.
I guess Pharaoh didn't look at it that way, because Pharaoh is saying, okay, let me see what you got. And he caught his rod and it became a snake. And Pharaoh's like, but my men can do that. That is something cheap. That's nothing.
But their men,
people can do that.
Their men didn't cancel it.
Looking at it, and he probably overlook it to say, boy, you're swallowed up, man. That not really mean nothing. Because you did that, man can do that too.
But they didn't cancel it.
That's nothing.
Right. Their rod, didn't reverse back into their serpent didn't reverse back into a rod, So they create the miracle, but they couldn't reverse it, like Aaron reverse is, and turn back into a rod. Theirs never turned back into a rod. So it's a weaker power that they have. But that was early days, and of course, Pharaoh wasn't impressed by that, because he felt like that was 1-1 in the domino game, and they can continue. So let's read some more from 14 to 19.
Okay. Coming up. Exodus 7, reading from 14 to 19. And the Lord spake, and the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, and he refuseth to let the people go. Get thee unto Pharaoh in the morning, and lo, he goeth out unto the water, and thou shalt stand by the river's brink against thee come, and the rod which was turned to a serpent shalt thou take in thine hand, and thou shalt say unto him, The Lord God of the Hebrews hath sent me unto thee, saying, Let my people go, that they may serve me in the wilderness. And behold, hitherto thou wouldest not hear. Thus saith the Lord, In this thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in my hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptian shall loath to drink of the water of the river. And the Lord spake unto Moses, and the Lord spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, upon their ponds, and upon their pools of water, that they may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessel of wood and in vessel of stone.
Thank you very much. Seem like I had asked the question, why a serpent? No, to prove the miracle. Or why is it that the first plague is against the Nile? So it's a lot of why question this evening, because we want to understand more. Why is the first plague against the Nile?
Because it would have affected broadly the whole of Egypt, right, in terms of that. But I want to ask you back one.
Yeah.
Was Goshen also affected by that?
Well, we'll later see that Goshen, well, when we read down, we will see that they were not affected, right? Because they were not affected. That's my belief, okay. Right? But okay, I think
because that's where the Israelites were.
Right. So they were in like a safe haven, watching the powers that was promised to them, and it's coming actually to show that the Creator is reliable, because all of chapter 60 we keep on saying, I am reliable, I am reliable, I am reliable. Now they have the proof. The Creator said to
So water is the same charge, basically. Yeah.
Yes, brother. Water is essential, confirming what you said, and that would greatly affect Pharaoh and the land of Egypt, commerce, everything, food, bathing, whatever. It would affect that. But what I wanted to say is that none of the plagues that took Pharaoh and the land of Egypt affected the children of Israel in Goshen. None of them affected the children of Israel in Goshen. None.
All praise to the Creator for that. Right, the Creator saw Pharaoh's stubbornness, and it was towards Pharaoh and his people. He was the one that refused to let the people go, not Israel. Israel didn't cause any trouble, right? So that's why, Moshe was told to go down to the river and the Nile in the morning, because obviously it seems to be somewhere Pharaoh goes regularly. I don't know if he got to relieve himself in the water, or I'm going to just to bathe, or I don't know if it's a ritual or hygiene issue.
Fresh year.
Right.
Fresh year.
But
fresh year.
I did some research, and it seemed as if Egypt didn't get rain. So because of that, they worship the Nile. They worship the Nile as their lifeline and as their God. right? So when the first plague struck the Nile, that is actually striking their lifeline. It's like a direct shot at their kind of theology and practice. And the message from that is that your source is not a God, because we can actually, our creator struck your Nile, right? So, and this was done under the creator's instruction. So, and Moses got the instruction that he must say, by this you will know that I am the creator. Behold, I will strike the water and it will turn to blood. Every gathering of water, river, canal, pool that was stored would have been affected, right? So if they don't get the message at this point, do you notice that Aaron as well was the one that actually stretched out his staff over the water? And the thing is, remember now, Moshe, I don't think Moshe could have gotten this job. And the reason why I don't think he could have gotten this job is that Moses was the one that was drawn from the Nile. 80 years ago, before, he was actually saved in that water. And, it was used as a means to preserve his life. So I don't think he would have, right. I don't think he would have turned him on against what was used to protect him. Right. That's my little idea.
You remember that 6 months after?
7
7
months of hiding, yeah, them have hiding, right? Almost full term, yeah. Right.
Yeah, got you.
Right. So the Nile is was seen as a god, but right now the Nile, even the Nile is being humiliated.
So in other words, the Most High was showing that he is supreme power as against the Egyptians' power, because, like you have said, the Nile is seen as
source,
one of the means of the worship, and here it is now turning a blood.
Mm-hmm.
So being contaminated. So I guess Pharaoh still taking down notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think this should have been enough for him to turn. Right, because everywhere he turned, I think there would have been blood in the water. Right, so
yeah, but he's still I'm not down yet. I'm not flat on my back yet.
He's stubborn, man. He's stubborn.
Something like that.
Right.
Right.
Well, let's read on then. Verses 20 to 25.
Okay, to the end.
Yeah.
Exodus 7, reading from 20 to 25. And Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded. And he lifted up the rod and smote the water that were in the river, in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants. And all the water that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that was in the water died. And the river stank, and the Egyptian could not drink of the water of the river, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. And the magician of Egypt did so with their enchantments, and Pharaoh's heart was hardened. Neither did he hearken unto them as the Lord had said. And Pharaoh turned and went into his house. Neither did he set his heart to this also. And all the Egyptians dig around about the river for water to drink, for they could not drink of the water of the river. And 7 days were fulfilled. After that, the Lord had smite the river. End of chapter 7.
Okay, thank you. So I'm wondering if they could do 7 days without, more than 7 days without water. What is a very important?
The Most High is merciful.
Resource, you know.
I'm still leading on him.
Yeah. Because it could be longer. It would have dried them at the same time. But the Most I already promised them that is the firstborn is going to really. The Most I already told Moshe that it was the striking of the firstborn that is going to feel the most, and it's not, and that one is being withheld, right? So there's more learning, softening up to be done to Pharaoh.
That event makes him speechless.
Yeah.
Because verse 23 says, and Pharaoh turned and went into his house. Neither did he set his heart to do this also. In that word.
Right, because everything that him value is actually being touched now. Because do you realize even fish?
At the same time, so far at the same time, because that is the source of life for everybody.
Yeah.
And here it is. Not even the other man then can't find no water.
But do you think that the magicians could replicate this?
Look, you know, say, I think go again. I with Joseph, when the wise man, when them call them couldn't. No, yeah, man, at the first Pharaoh, and they never kill them off. And then remember said Joseph can interpret dream. Is Joseph or
yeah, man, it is Joseph. When it comes to interpreting dreams. Yeah.
So the software are doing hard tough, him still have leniency upon him as science man and we have found him because I'm gonna get their food already.
Right. And he has a false sense of security now, because you see when his magician actually did the same trick in verse 22, he's actually still evening up himself with the Most High, you know. Evening up himself, you know. But after the magicians do the same trick, they couldn't get back the water clear back, you know. They couldn't get it back clear, you know. They couldn't reverse it, you know.
Now, knock him for 6. 1 year kind of pin is a year kind get this stuff.
Right.
Kind become speechless. So I must be balling going and thing they go ball because as him say he went in this house. He not even saying serve and then go with him. I'm alone.
I'm wondering.
Not to put in the scripture about basically, you know, I say he went back. He went into his house.
Yeah. Turned and went into his house, and his heart was not.
I want to say something here, please, because remember when you said that the serpent was turned into the snake, and then Aaron's serpent consumed the other. And it's right here, it is also saying that you said Pharaoh didn't say anything about it. So at verse 23, when it says, and Pharaoh turned and went into his house, neither did he set his heart to this. Also, that means that he not think about it.
You know why he was not moved?
He's not thinking about it.
Why?
This one go over and head as well as that one, because look, my magician makes serpents.
That's right. That's why he was not moved.
He didn't put that went over his head, and when his magician turned the water into blood, he not think about it. So it go over his head too.
Yeah.
It went over his head.
Yeah.
And so that's why he hardened his heart. Because if he had thought about it, maybe it's we know that it's the Most High hardening his heart, but he didn't even consider it. Because if he was thinking about it, I said, well on. But their serpent is the one that swallowed their serpent, our serpent. And the water turned to blood and it lasted for so long. And so he didn't even think about it. He was thinking.
He's an uncaring man.
He's not care. He's not think.
Not our sister. He's not care.
Is what my grandmother says, stubborn. Very stubborn. Because
I'm more than stubborn, brother. Him just not care.
Yeah.
That no vocabulary, none at all. We're going to see what makes him care, but we never
the first 3 was, I think, is soft because, and why it was soft is because his magicians were able to replicate it. So even though they could not reverse it, right? It shows that, you know, that he actually is trying, And there's something about him. You know?
Remember now, brother. Who somebody know to come contaminate with the main source of survival?
Well, they're stupid because they've made it worse. I don't see why the magicians would even replicate what was done. Why I make more water turn into blood after I turn into blood already? And water is so important.
No, because I'm not trying. Look here.
That's stupid of them.
Show the power that be, it all shows the power that be,
I am here imagining them going to Goshen and begging some water to drink. Shortly 7 days.
Yeah, but then nobody figure beg, because they can't go Goshen or beg none.
Well, it's one line, maybe they may have gone to Goshen.
They're not going not away. Them not. Okay. Pharaoh got hold of meds. I say, all right, tomorrow again, make him come to me one year. You have to say to me again tomorrow.
Well, it was 7 long days now, so I realized each with every plague, it gets stronger and stronger because the others were just like maybe half day or 1 meter or whatever. This one was 7 days, so I believe that the fourth one will be longer too. So the more he resists, the more he'll feel it where it hurts.
All right, I want to ask this question, my brother. Is the serpent, the staff being a serpent, was that a plague?
Well, no, it was just a wonder, a sign and wonder. It was something to make them. Yeah, it's a sign. It didn't really hurt anybody. A plague is what really affected the people largely, but the sign is just to show Pharaoh that this is just a little small part of what is coming.
So the water into blood is one door.
Yeah, that the Nile into blood, that is one. That is the first one.
Okay, all right. Just want to know.
Yeah, right.
You have more than one action being displayed, so we just want to identify what is and what wasn't.
Yeah. Right. Well, the more I read this, the more questions, because right now I'm thinking, what do you think about the balance between Pharaoh's own stubbornness and the Creator's strength in his heart? Where do you see the pattern in our world today?
Remember the giving, is that your desire, the Creator will allow your desire. He will allow it. Even if it ever hurt you, He will allow it.
So are you seeing this kind of situation today in governance and in government?
Yes.
Any example close to us, or well, no, we don't want to get in trouble, but if we see it, then
right. Okay, that is why. Okay, I right. So
yes.
It
is there. Okay, I just want to know. So we were to be mindful of that, and the fact that we are the ones reading and we're seeing it. You think they're seeing it? They're blind to this. The ones who are actually doing this kind of thing today.
Because remember, we know.
Kicking again the
when a person is acting upon desire, whether it is good or bad for them, they are not viewing it in that respect, because when it comes to an individual, okay, the person is going to behave selfishly, meaning it's all about what they want.
Yeah.
It's all about what they want.
Yeah. Right. Well,
we're not looking further to say, how will this affect me? No, right there and then, this is what I want, and I'm going for it.
Yeah. Well, I look at others and I look at this story and I look at others and I keep looking at others, but I want to look at myself now, to do an introspection, and I'm wondering if there is any Nile in my life. Basically, how would we respond if the Creator was to expose our Nile? I mean, expose what we cherish the most. Nile was what they cherish the most. What if when what we cherish the most, it's not accessible to us and it's not in our control again? So the untouchable things in our lives, how would we respond today when that happened to us?
We have been conflict within ourselves. We will be having conflict within ourselves.
Yeah, but always the solution. I mean, know that we would, of course, be uncomfortable and stressed out. Right. What is the response that we supposed to do when our Nile kind of situation get exposed by the Creator?
Well, until we have learned the lesson, because in that respect, you have to be reactive. In that respect, with that scenario, You have to be reactive.
Or
so until the lesson is learned, then you will know how to counteract or address or do damage control, whichever way you want to look at it. But it's a reactive situation.
Yeah. All right, so
I think we should go to the Creator and ask Him to show us our faults, and we can work on them with His guidance and instructions and His mercy. We should ask for mercy too.
Thank you, sister.
You know, we could ask Him to forgive us for whatever actions we have caused against Him and ourselves and whoever else that we have offended. And we just ask Him for guidance to move forward, because that's the best thing. We can't just say it is a reaction, or we just need to go to Him for instructions.
Yeah, but if we don't, sister, but that is why I say reactive, because if it is not exposed to us, what will we be addressing? That is my point. So you have to go to the Creator, but then you will be reacting after what you have been exposed to or what has been, pointed out to you.
Okay, what I will do is adjust my perspective. So from now on up front, well, I know the things that are valid right now. And before the Creator, if the Creator chooses to rock it, I want to adjust my perspective from now. Right now, I am not going to rely on the things that I currently rely on. I want to start relying more on the Creator. He's the reliable one. And whatever is needed, I believe that the promises, it is within those 6 or 7 promises that He extend to Israel, if I follow the commands that were given to Israel. So that's my approach right now. Remember that none of the things that I have is reliable, and don't put my trust in any of those things. That's my shortcut to deal with it. All right, so let's wrap up this chapter now. Just in summary, we see the plague start, the plague cycle start, and the Creator set Moshe as an elohim to Pharaoh and Aaron as a prophet, and warns that Pharaoh's heart will be hardened so that his signs are multiplied and opens with a miracle. Aaron's staff swallowing the staff of Egypt's magicians, that is something that stood out. Then he strikes the Nile, Egypt's god and lifeline, turning the waters from blood to blood for 7 days. With the magicians can only make things worse. They couldn't make it better, they only made it worse. Through it all, Pharaoh's heart remained stubborn, but the Creator's authority over Egypt's power and gods and the Creator is firmly announced. Yeah. Right. So we see.
There's something that we're missing too, brother, because
help me.
Each time it appears as though Moses and Aaron are not aware of what is coming next. You see, each time they have to consult the Creator, and He tells them that this is what you shall say to Pharaoh, and this is what you shall do. It doesn't seem like they're aware. So each time they themselves have to consult the Creator as to what to do and to move forward, where to go, how to approach Pharaoh each time.
And that is the approach to make. We must recognize who he is and who we are, and stay in line.
All right. I thank you for that, sister. Which leaves me to ask then. Aaron was perceived as a prophet, and the Most High will not do anything until He reveals it to Him prophet.
That is so.
Would it be fair to say that, seeing as Aaron is the prophet acting in that capacity, that certain revelation should have been revealed to him?
He got revelation, He got revelation.
Aaron is the prophet to Moses, Moses is the prophet of the Most High to Pharaoh. But Moses is acting as God to Pharaoh, and Aaron is Moses' prophet. So whatever the Most High tells Moses conveys it to Aaron.
Yeah, man. But I'm saying, in the office of a prophet, God speak directly to the prophet. I am asking, wouldn't it be fair for God to speak directly to Aaron and tell him how the process is going to take place?
That's what I just explained to your brother in verse 1 of chapter 7. It says, Aaron shall be thy prophet. Whose prophet is Aaron?
Moshe's
is it the
prophet.
Moshe's prophet or is it Moses' prophet?
So why is it then that they are all confused every time they have to be consulting the Most High? Let me ask that then. If it is revealed to him,
then they're not confused, you know.
When the prophets were going to give whatever notification or warning to Israel, they spell it out.
No, that would have been a timeline as to say how long it will take. That is a different case now, brother.
I'm using the office of a prophet. I'm using the office of a prophet, sister. That's what I'm saying. A prophet.
Yes, but you're also you're putting all of them together in the same.
All right. Okay. What is the role of a prophet?
Anybody can be a prophet. The role of a prophet is to get message from God.
Anybody. The Most High choose a prophet. Anybody cannot be a prophet.
A prophet is a man who proclaims and announces words of reproof to the people.
Pharaoh has his prophets and astrologers, you know. Anybody can be a prophet. We're at the Most High and his way of doing things. I'm not talking about fear and his. I'm talking about a prophet of the Most High. What's their function?
Well, to tell the function of the prophet, as I just read, is to proclaim and announce the words of reproof to the people. Right? That is the general thing that a prophet does.
And my question was, wouldn't it be fair for the Most High to reveal that to Aharon, seeing as he was acting in that capacity? That's what I was saying, you know, and that's the question I asked.
My take is that he can reveal to anyone, because even while at the burning bush and Moses was grumbling, he actually said, by the way, your brother is actually, I talked to your brother already, and he's actually on his way to come meet you and greet you.
No. All right.
So that is, so he's speaking, he spoke to both of them.
He spoke to both of them.
Right. And that is encouraging, right? All right, well, it's a very interesting part of the lesson, and we see the 3 plagues, and we just can imagine how it will unfold, right? Which we know now that when the Creator.
Sorry, brother.
Yeah.
While he spoke to both of them, he also spoke to Moses certain things, and this is, you can find that in verse 19 of 7. So, and the Most High Creator spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters. So you see, the Most High is actually talking to Moses directly.
Yes, and we saw that story.
Okay, not to go further. You know why I asked that question? Because the statement that you made, that every time that happened, they have to go and to be consulting the Most High again, over and over. So I'm speaking about a process whereas a particular thing must happen, and it's simply to say, outline, this is what is going to happen. Okay, there's going to be
the Most High did not reveal all his will unto them. That's what I was trying to get at. All his will was not revealed unto them. He allowed them to come to him. Because if he had revealed everything, maybe Moses would have told Pharaoh. And Pharaoh would have prepared himself. So everything that is coming in stages on Pharaoh, as the brother said, and they got more intense. Each time they got more intense. So Pharaoh is not able to expect anything. He doesn't know what to expect. Because I believe that if he had an expectation, he would have made preparation.
So you're saying,
know what to expect.
So Pharaoh would have interfered with Moses' mind, whereas the Most High is the one who's giving him whatever to say
and that's
to Pharaoh.
Why Moses has to go back and consult the Most High as to what is to take place. After each place, he has to go back to the Most High to find out what is it. And I think that is fair.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've learned a lot, and just going to wrap up now. to say that when the Creator begin to judge an empire, he will expose their gods first, right? And he will expose the magics that they have to and show that they are useless. So it's not just a politics he puts in humility, right? So as we read into the other plagues, let us remember that the signs that are coming, they are not random signs. They are deliberate, strategic signs to say to Mizraim, to say to Israel, and to say to us, by this you will know that I am, I'm reliable, I'm the Creator. Yes, so that's it basically. So shalom, family.
Shalom. All right, let's go.